All right, guys, welcome back to Marshall Remodel. This is the Mad County Build Series, and we're going to be talking about laying penny tile today here at the Mad County Build. And even Emily got in on the action.
Yeah, I did a lot of the grouting, and so basically that makes me a pro.
No. So yeah, Emily wanted to help out, and she's never done tile before, and she actually did a pretty good job.
It was definitely a physically
demanding.
Yes, very physically demanding, and something, but I didn't hate it. I guess I didn't hate the actual job. It just takes a lot out of you when you're not in tile laying shape. But
she's never done it before, and she did a really good job, so I'm confident that you guys can attempt this and do it as well. But we just want to address the water barrier that we talked about when we were putting the cement board down. We are choosing not to put anything down in our bathrooms. We've never done that before. We've never had an issue. And, you know, we discussed it, the risk versus reward. We just feel like it's not worth it to put in our bathrooms. If we ever have that kind of a leak, water is going to go down. It's going to get into that pocket door area and go through, or it's going to go out into the hall. That's just our opinion. We have no problem if somebody else wants to do that, but that's just kind of our philosophy.
Yeah, it's a reminder that there's a lot of different ways to do almost everything, and so the important thing is that you make sure you do what is like the baseline way to just ensure that it functions properly, but then all of the extras, you know, you don't always have to get caught up in doing them depending on your situation.
Yeah, every situation's different, but we made the decision that works best for us, and we're excited about it, and we've had good success doing things this way.
Right, so, and that's a lot of our decisions come from years of experience and living with our choices and not having problems and things like that, so.
Penny tiled out, picked out. Well, I should say Emily has penny tile picked out. And we're just trying to figure out how we want to start. And what we've decided is, if you look at these sheets, one side is flat, and then the other side is so you can interlock the pieces. And we've decided that we're going to do this flat side against the wall that has the door. So that gives us a couple options. One, we can leave the tile die here and bring our hardwood up here, or we can get a trim piece and extend this out to the middle. So that gives us more options, and I think a little bit better look is what we're thinking. So we got our first row laid out. I'm gonna have to cut little pieces for the back there, but I think it's gonna look real nice. You ready? That's all you have to say?
I wasn't
I don't know. It's not how it always is, I can promise you that. All right, you can see we got it all laid out. Looks pretty good. And now I know I have to adjust, I have to turn all of this just ever so slightly. You can see my line kind of creep over like probably 1/4, 3/8 an inch. So I'll probably lay this first to make sure I'm nice and square, and I'll work that way. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take them in piles across so I know how they all go, and I'll stack them outside the door, and then mix up some thin set and start laying them. So we got our thin set mixed up. I mixed it thin. When you're using small tiles, you want to make sure you don't use too big of a trowel because the thin set will come up in between all the tiles and you'll have a mess on your hand. So I'm starting with something real small, a little V-notch trowel, and if I get good adhesion then I'm just going to keep going, or I'll step it up just a little bit, but I think I'll be good with what I got. So we're going to start putting these down and hopefully have this done in 20-30 minutes.
That's why he wants me to watch him. I don't want him to get dirty because he's a dog.
All right, I'm trying a different grout this round. I usually use Power Grout, but Home Depot sold me on this Mapei Ultra Color Plus. So this is called Avalanche, which is supposed to be their brightest white. Emily has decided she wants to grout, which is awesome. I hope she's amazing at it, because then that means I can pass that off to her. So she's gonna try it out on our small guest bathroom. We've got it all cleaned. It's ready to go. We're just trying to find a small container to mix up our grout in. We'll mix up a little at a time, you know, just to get a feel for this. I've never used this grout, so I don't know how long of work time we really have. So we'll just get it spread out and kind of watch it. We got all of our buckets ready. Got a sponge ready, so I'll be happy to switch out water for her so she can have clean water as we go on this. So I got Emily started on grouting, and she actually picked it up pretty quick. And she did a great job. And starting out with penny tile, where you have so much grout, is a kind of a tough way to learn, but nonetheless she did a good job. And I cut her loose on the second bathroom, and she did the grouting, mixing the grouting all by herself without me even being around. Right here I'm getting ready to lay this tile, and I got a phone call from Emily, and she was thinking that maybe she wanted to add some accent. So this is what happens when the wife decides she might want to change her mind. Oh wait, now we're back to the original plan. Alright guys, this is the last bathroom that I have to tile up here in the upstairs. And what we've been doing is we've been laying out and getting all of our sheets cut to size. I can kind of figure out how all of this is going to lay, so while I'm tiling, I know in my head what I got to do to keep it square. So these rooms are pretty square, but it doesn't take a whole lot with these little penny tiles to get off. And even though they're on sheets, like the ends are a little bit flexible and you got to watch them. So if they, you know, are off to the left or right a little bit, you kind of reline them up. So we've got this bathroom all laid out, so it's ready to mix up some thin set and put it down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here at this front door here, and I want this to be perfect. So I'm going to start on this row and work my way that way. So I'm just going to take each row and stack it up in the back, and then I'll pull from the top of the pile, and once I get so far, then I'll turn around, stand on the tile, and lay the rest of it. The thin set for this is real thin. If you get it too thick, you're gonna have a mess on your hands. I feel like I've done a pretty decent job. There's been a couple spots where I had it a little bit too thick and I've had to take a toothpick and kind of get the thin set out of there. But other than that, it's gone pretty good. So alright guys, so now that we're done with all the tiling and grouting of these bathrooms, I want to talk about a couple things with installing this penny tiles. One, it takes a lot of grout. So this is the size of bag of grout I got, which is a 10-pound bag. And you can do, for us, a 10-pound bag did about 15 to 18 square feet is all. So it takes a lot of grout. I think our bathroom over there that was 25 square feet, we used like a bag and a quarter to a bag and a half. So you're gonna spend a lot more money in grout. There's just a lot more of it to do. One thing to keep in mind is if you're going to put penny tile down, so we used white penny tile with white grout and black penny tile with charcoal grout. If you keep similar colors, the imperfections are going to be a lot less obvious. If you went with white penny tile and black grout, or black penny tile and white grout, where there's a difference, you're going to be able to see the imperfections better. You know, we did white on white and then charcoal on black, and our results were really good. This is by no means perfect. I feel like we did a pretty good job. We took our time making sure they were lined up, that we were square. But it's not perfect, but once it's all grouted and everything, it looks really good. So just keep that in mind. Another thing I want to talk about is the tile saw I used is an MK101. I've had that saw for about 10 years probably. And you want a really good quality tile saw. I used to rent a tile saw before I invested, and that tile saw has more than paid for itself. And then one other thing, when you're laying these small penny tiles, you want to make sure you use a small trowel. I used a V-notch trowel. I think it was an 1/8 or 1/4 inch trowel. If you put too much thin set down, it's gonna come up through all those tiles and you're gonna have a mess. And you're gonna end up seeing all that thin set when you grout and you start washing your tile. So that's gonna be a wrap on the bathroom tile. The only tile we have remaining is the master shower and backsplashes.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting to be getting to this point. As always, thanks so much for watching. Leave a comment below if you have any questions. We have a lot of fun stuff coming up. We're working on bathroom vanities right now, and we're doing apron front sinks and all of those, which is gonna look pretty cool. Go ahead and check us out on Instagram or Facebook if you like getting more real-time, day-to-day updates. And with that,
we'll catch you on the next video.